from your isolation stations. It's Tom Campbell for Cultaholic Wrestling, and there was some talk that I landed in purgatory, and I wanted to put those rumours to rest. I am very much at my house. There's my kitchen, where I do all my bits of cooking on an evening. The only sport that is still going is professional wrestling. So we are still going too, and here is some headlines. Which recent AEW signing has criticised WWE's booking? We have news on more wrestling shows being postponed, and 2 WWE stars who could end up fighting at NXT UK TakeOver. More on that in a bit. Cast your mind back to a couple of weeks ago. We could go outside, pubs were open, we could stand awkwardly close to one another. But also, Jake the Snake Roberts was putting the wrestling world on notice with a promo for the ages on AEW Dynamite. Oh, the man barely missed a beat. Oh, it was phenomenal. He was talking to Flip the Script the other day about numerous things, including his AEW return and, of course, the WWE, where Jake the Snake Roberts very much cut his teeth, among other things. He had some critique for the WWE, namely the booking of one of its main stars, in particular Brock Lesnar. Jake Roberts had this to say on Flip the Script. The thing about Brock is he's not an everyday wrestler. He's a once a year guy or 3 times a year guy. To me, you're treating your talent like SH1T. Every year, come WrestleMania, time after time, these guys have busted their asses for 365 days, and when it comes time for the big one, they bring in Lesnar and they have to sit down. There's quite a few people in the wrestling world that echo the sentiment of Jake the Snake Roberts there, in the sense that, yeah, Brock Lesnar kind of feels like this final boss that just sort of swoops in near the end of the year and takes a whole load of glory as he does. You only have to look at the title reign of Kofi Kingston for that. One hell of a run from one of the absolute best. And okay, maybe not all matches were 5-star, that's fine, but it was great to see Kofi Kingston with the belt. Here comes Brock Lesnar, and one F5 later, in less than 10 seconds, he's the WWE champion. Suddenly all that momentum behind Kofi Kingston just gone in a click like that. Jake Roberts has some very valid points. It wasn't just some digs that WWE got from Jake Roberts. They got a lot of praise as well. In particular, Jake was very grateful to Vince McMahon and the company, who paid for his rehab multiple times over, and he was very glowing in that regard of how the company looked after him. In fact, if you have some downtime, which we all do at the moment, don't we? Yes, I think we do. Check out The Resurrection of Jake the Snake, an amazing documentary which shows Jake the Snake Roberts rising from the ashes and soaring into the sun. Kind of. On the subject of the new home of Jake the Snake Roberts, AEW, it was meant to be a big week for All Elite Wrestling. The Blood and Guts match was coming up on Wednesday, and that is no longer taking place. I'd like to quote now a series of tweets sent by the CEO and president of AEW, Tony Khan, who says, "Our goal every week with AEW Dynamite on TNT is to produce shows for our fans," and I believe we do. We felt especially motivated to serve our audience this past Wednesday night, given what the entire world is coping with. And hopefully we gave them a well-deserved escape during these trying times. Everyone at AEW is very proud of what we delivered and humbled by the response and the kind words that we received from fans and partners throughout the world. Thank you. We plan to continue answering the calling with live weekly shows every Wednesday night on TNT. But the time and circumstances aren't right for the card that we had planned for next week for Blood and Guts. That show will happen when the time is right, but what you can count on instead this coming Wednesday night is a great live episode of AEW Dynamite featuring Chris Jericho confronting Matt Hardy face-to-face, one-on-one for the first time ever, and a tremendous night of wrestling action. In the meantime, until AEW Dynamite this Wednesday night, please follow us via our social media, and please be safe and smart so we can get back to seeing you all on the road as soon as possible. Thank you for making this all possible for everyone here at AEW. It's a dream come true true to be able to do these shows for all of you. Some lovely sentiment from Tony Khan. It does mean, of course, we aren't getting AEW's War Games with extra steps. That is the blood and guts match this coming Wednesday. I get it. I actually do get it, because in these times of, social distancing, where we're told to not stand too close to other people and all that jazz, we don't really need to be seeing a steel cage match that features a whole bunch of wrestlers locked inside a cage at the same time. The world doesn't truly need that right now, so I get it. We'll have that match down the road when things have calmed down a little bit, when things have blown over. On the subject of cancelled wrestling shows, Impact Wrestling's Rebellion pay-per-view seems to be off. Terminal 5 in New York City put on their website that the show has been cancelled. Tickets are no longer available. That was coming up in a couple of weeks' time, around the middle of April. No longer happening. We haven't yet had word from Impact Wrestling about it, but I imagine by the time this goes out and you're seeing this, Impact have commented on it. It's a real shame, because Impact Wrestling seems to be one of those companies that can seemingly keep going throughout all these trying times. They've been taped for several weeks now, so they're one of the last companies that are still putting out new shows with live crowds in. I genuinely thought they'd just keep on keeping on. I'm sad that we're not getting the TNA There's No Place Like Home show. I was ready for D'Lo Brown and Mr. Ken Anderson to put the skins on again. Aces and eights riding again. Sadly not, they've been clamped. But Impact Wrestling, no doubt, will have Rebellion down the road when things are a little bit more back to normal. Business goes on at WWE. We do know quite a few of the office workers are currently working from home. A big hi to Janet from Accounts on Level 5, who is currently watching this video whilst drinking a Long Island iced tea on her veranda. I mean, filing important paperwork. I see you, Janet. I don't know for a fact if there's a Janet from Accounts in WWE. If there is, hi to you, Janet from Accounts. I hope you're well. But business continues, and WWE are close to signing a deal with ESPN. This is a deal that goes back to earlier in the year when WWE announced that they were looking for OTT platforms to stream their WWE specials on, probably looking at streaming the big pay-per-views of the year, your Royal Rumbles, your WrestleManias, your SummerSlams, your Survivor Series, your Battleground, your Over the Limit, your WWE Fatal 4-Way. You get the idea. That deal, whilst it hasn't been finalised yet, according to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer, there is still some financial issues to resolve there. There is some progress. Last night, ESPN showed WrestleMania 30 on their channel. It's the first time that particular WrestleMania has been shown on basic cable. So it's a big step, and there is plans for ESPN to share more classic WrestleMania shows. So there's obviously, even amongst all that's going on, there is still some deals being signed for WWE. The business continues. But it may not be ESPN that WWE end up streaming with. There's a couple of other options, including NBC's Peacock network, which is set to launch in the next few months. This is NBC's streaming platform, which WWE would fit quite well on. I think they'd be great on Disney Plus. I think that'd be brilliant. I want to see an animated version of Heavy Machinery fighting Mickey and Goofy. Make that a thing, thank you. NXT UK TakeOver Dublin still on the cards as we speak, set to emanate from the 3 Arena in Dublin on April the 26th. Now, obviously, this whole pandemic is a moving beast. So who knows what the next few weeks or months can bring. I'm ever the optimist. I kind of love the idea of next month, when this show is on, we're starting to get back to normal and we can all celebrate with a cracking show in Dublin. Sheamus wants to be a part of it. He was talking to Sportskeeda, and he said that he'd love to be a part of NXT UK TakeOver Dublin. Fired off a couple of names that he'd love to get in there with, including like Volta and Wolfgang from Gallus. But the name that he was very keen on working with was Finn Balor. Finn Balor, who has been back and forth between NXT and NXT NXT UK over the last couple of weeks, building to something with Imperium and potentially a title challenge with Volta. Now, the match between Finn Balor and Volta may not headline at TakeOver Dublin. Got WrestleMania on the brain at the moment. May not headline at TakeOver in Dublin. Finn Balor may have other plans. Maybe a match with Sheamus. Sheamus versus Finn Balor, TakeOver Dublin. I'm all right with that. Shoot that into me veins. And finally, something from the Instagram page of Maria Kanellis. Maria and Mike, currently in isolation with their family, and Maria wanted to pay homage to her mother yesterday, and she put on a picture of her mum with the following caption: "This is my mum with my son Carver. She hates taking pictures, but I love this one of her. Today my mum dropped off flowers and a colouring book to us on our back porch and left. Hashtag social distancing." She also wrote me a note saying I was doing a great job, but all I could think of was, "No mum, you are doing a great job. My mum works in a nursing home and has been for over 30 years. She is a kind, selfless person, and even though they told her she doesn't have to go in right now, she does, because she doesn't want to leave them short-handed. She wants to be there for her co-workers and her residents. My mum is a superhero, always has been. So mum, if I am doing a great job, it's because I learned from you. My mum is why I stay home. She wants to do her job and she is great at it. I love you and I can't wait till the kids can hug you again." Wonderful statement, very poignant from Maria Kanellis. And keeping it 100 with you, we here at Cultaholic, we've had loads of tweets and messages to the channel and to us individually from you who are going out to work during this difficult time. And we've heard from doctors and nurses and care home workers and support workers for whom the work doesn't stop, for whom they are on the front line. We've heard from people that are going out to work in supermarkets and superstores, spending long hours, 36 billion times more hours than they could ever hope to work, making sure that toilet paper stays on the shelf for 16 minutes. Stop buying toilet paper, you animals. And we've heard from people who are just having to carry on their daily business just to keep the world somewhat normal. And to those people who watch our videos, from the bottom of my heart and from all of us here at Cultaholic, thank you for everything that you do. The little things that you do and the big things that you do are keeping the world not just ticking over, but keeping the planet moving. You guys are giving us some semblance of order and control in really weird times, and we will never ever be able to repay the debt of some of the amazing things that you are doing. And if doing silly videos from kitchens is something that is putting a little smile on your face at the end of a 47-hour working day, then it is, honest to goodness, the very, very least that we can do. We thank you so, so much for those who are still working hard to keep people ticking over and to keep the planet going during this weird time. Thank you so much. Also keeping it 100, this mug's been empty the whole time. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.